everyone, it's DJ and welcome to another episode of RC Retirement. Today I've got a news update for you. This is going to be a nice little casual series of different news articles that I'm going to summarize for you. After all of the series of interviews, I figure it's time that we just do something relaxed. So today is just going to be a little bit of news and nothing too stressed out, just some retirement related news articles of semi-importance, nothing too life-shattering, but some good information to be put out there and stuff that is definitely good to know. So let's move on. So I've got 5 topics for you today, and they will not take up a great deal of your time. So starting the list, I've got under the headline, more than 5 million military families, more than 5 million military family members, retirees are getting new ID cards. And I won't read the entire article, just parts of it. Military family members, retirees, and their family members and certain others will get new ID cards as they renew or replace their IDs over the next 5 years. It will be similar to the Common Access Card used by military personnel and DoD personnel without the chip. The change applies to well over 5 million people with ID cards who are non-CAC holders, with the largest populations being affected being military retirees and dependents of active duty and retirees. But unless your ID card is about to expire, there's no need to rush to get the new card, especially during this era of pandemic when officials don't want ID card offices flooded with people. Now a little info about that card. You have time. The transition to the Next Generation Uniform Services Identification Card is expected to be completed in January 2026. And the new card capability isn't yet available in all ID card sites, known as Rapids sites. And in the show notes, I'm putting a link to a Rapids site locator so that you can figure out what is the closest ID card facility to your location and find out if they are capable of producing the next generation ID card. So Michael Sorrento, the director of the Manpower Data Center, said the new ID card has the same technology and the same kind of lamination as the Common Access Card, which makes it more durable. The new cards also have enhanced security features to reduce the likelihood that the cards can be compromised. This is the first time since 1993 that the retiree and dependent cards have had such significant changes. And it's even pondered that in the future ID cards might not be needed, with digital IDs being in the forefront, being possible. And one interesting thing here, the future looks bright, they say, as officials work on some enhanced features. For example, the card holder might be able to go online and order an ID card through a proper vetting process and have it mailed without having to visit the Rapids office. So that's an interesting option there. So definitely check that out. Chances are you might need a DS Logon, and check out my video on DS Logons for how to create one of those. As new benefits become available, they can also be added to these cards. So that's another interesting capability. I skipped ahead a bit. Officials believe at some point an ID card won't be needed with digital IDs and such. Very nice. Depending on how those digital IDs are implemented. The underlying technology of the ID card supports all the improvements planned for the future, providing the foundation for greater improvements for cardholders for a long time to come. Alright, so if you need to replace your ID card because it's expiring, for example, you can make an appointment through the Deers Rapids site through the link in the show notes, or you can go to cac.mil, which also has more information. So that's enough about ID cards for now. Let's move on to stuff about eyes and teeth. Pardon me, I'm trying not to sneeze. Alright, so next article here is more dental and vision insurance plans to be offered in 2021 open season. And there will be links to all of these articles in the show notes also. So you can see the bits and pieces that I'm skipping. Federal employees and... Did I skip the... No, I didn't skip the headline. Federal employees and military retirees will have more insurance plans to choose from this year, as the Office of Personnel Management announced August 11th, so I am a little late in some of these articles. That OPM has announced that it has selected the Federal Employees Dental and Vision Insurance Program, insurance carriers that it will provide for next year. And all of that doesn't matter. The number of dental carriers available will increase from 10 to 12, and the number of vision carriers will increase from 4 to 5 in the coming year. All vision carriers will be offered nationwide, while 5 of the dental carriers will be offered on a regional basis only. And then it lists the dental carriers, the regional carriers, the vision carriers. Those eligible for the FedVIP program will be able to enroll, cancel, or change their coverage during the 2021 enrollment season, which lasts from November 9th to December 14th of this year. So if you want to make those changes, do so next month. That's coming up in about 2 weeks. So be aware. Actually about 3 weeks. So you've got a little bit of time to prepare. And like I said, the links or the info for this article is in the show notes, so you can take a look at the different types of providers that will be available next year and make an informed decision. Alright, now these next articles are from the Army Echoes and Defense Finance retiree newsletters. If you are not a subscriber to these newsletters, I recommend becoming so. Even if you're not a current military retiree, if you're currently serving, this is still very good information for others out there. This is good for future planning. For example, if you're 5 or so years from retirement, you would be well informed to start reading the Army Echoes newsletter. There's some very good information in here, and it also helps you become in tune with the terminology of retirement. of course, you can also stay tuned to this channel. That helps as well. Alright, so I've got two quick articles from the Army Echoes newsletter. They are actually on the same page of the newsletter. And I'm going to give a link to the newsletter itself as well as the page reference. By the way, a quick bit of trivia about Army Echoes. If you get the paper version of the newsletter, it is 16 pages long. But if you get the digital version of the newsletter, it is 24 pages long. You get a bonus if you get the digital version. I might be off. It might be 20 and 24. Either way, you get extra material if you get the digital version. The reason for that, of course, extra paper costs more to print and more to mail. So the Army is trying to save money. Alright, so the next article. Mypay announces two-factor authentication coming soon. For those of you who are active users of Mypay, you may have already noticed this. So, Cleveland, your identity and financial information are valuable to you and those thieves looking to steal it. Experts in online security say passwords are no longer a surefire means to keep unwanted visitors out of your online business. Two-factor authentication, already familiar to many, is coming to Mypay, the pay management system from Defense Finance and Accounting Service, or DFAS, bringing an additional layer of protection in safeguarding pay account information for military retirees and annuitants. Simply put, two-factor authentication uses your smartphone number or email address to provide a means to verify that you are you and not someone who has discovered your Mypay login and password. Two-factor authentication is already in use by many banks and credit unions for online accounts that are secured with login IDs and passwords. When an account holder enters this information, a unique one-time personal identification number or PIN is sent to the individual's smartphone via text message or as an email message to an address contained in the user's Mypay profile. Once the one-time PIN is entered on the Mypay login screen, access to the account is provided. The one-time PIN verification code remains valid for 10 minutes, so it will be important for the user to have access to the smartphone or email account previously selected by the user to receive the information. While initially available for Mypay account access on a voluntary opt-in basis, it is anticipated that two-factor authentication will be required for all Mypay accounts in 2021, sometime in 2021. More detailed information, including instructions for updating email addresses and mobile numbers, will be sent via Mypay Smart Docs email. Period. I got a little ahead of myself there. Notices and other information will also be provided on the DFAS public website, www.dfas.mil, and the agency's Facebook page. Maintaining your Mypay account, including passwords and up-to-date profile information, is vital to protecting your online business with DFAS. Even if you log in one time a year to retrieve your 1099 tax statement, now is a good time to prepare yourself to make sure you, and only you, can get the information so necessary in today's digital world. Full stop. Alright, so now it's me again, and I can't help but agree. I have been a major proponent of the Mypay website ever since it came out. As you know from watching me, I am not a fan of anything in paper form. I am a fan of digits, and that means I'm also a fan of digital security. So if you take this extra step to enhance your own digital security, then that means, of course, you're an intelligent person. So please go to Mypay and update your profile information now in order to do just that, to enhance your digital security. It is a bit of a hassle for those of us who are used to just entering a login and password and then having to have that extra step of entering another bit of info, yes, but as with so many things, we do get used to it. For example, I have to do the same thing when I log into my own account on YouTube. I have to enter my login password and then pick up my smartphone and do a two-factor authentication there. So there's that extra bit of security just in case. So especially when you're dealing with financial and personal identification type information, safeguard it. Do everything you can to keep yourself safe. So if you have not already done so, make sure your information in the Mypay profile is absolutely current. All right, let's move on to the next article on the same page at the bottom. Important information for retired soldiers about the new IRS Form W4. Oh goody, taxes. So this is about the Tax Cut Act from 2017. It says this act brought many changes, some of them quite recently. One is that the Internal Revenue Service issued a new 2020 IRS Form W4 that is quite different from previous W4s. Another change is that the 2020 tax tables from the IRS created some withholding changes, even for those who did not request a change in their individual withholding. That is quite true. Just as a quick statement. These changes were made because of the guidance from the IRS that directed a different amount of tax withholding based on a taxpayer's previous tax status. Because of this guidance, some people saw an unexpected increase in their tax withholding. Retired soldiers can verify and update their federal tax withholding information easily at Mypay, in Mypay, by clicking on Federal Withholding under Pay Changes in the Mypay menu on the left side. Or if you're still doing things the paper way, you can mail or fax a DFAS with a new 2020 version of a Form W4 to request a change to your federal withholding. I personally, of course, recommend that you go through Mypay and update your withholding that way. That way you know it's done. And you will get an email verification knowing or confirming that it has been done. Alright, so that's 4 out of 4, or 4 out of 5. I've got one more article for you, and it's about that big. And this is another conversion from from paper to digits. So, surprise, surprise. So this is electronic RAS for new retirees. As of July of 2020, all new retirees will automatically receive their retiree account statements, RAS, via electronic delivery in Mypay. If you need your your statements delivered via postal mail, you can use Mypay to change your delivery preference. If you are unable to access Mypay, you can send DFAS a signed and dated letter stating requesting to change your RAS delivery to hard copy mail, or call customer care to make your request. And that came from the Defense Finance and Accounting Service retiree newsletter, page 5, and there will be a link to that in the show notes. So as you see, everything is going from paper to digital. This is not just because it's the electronic age, but also because it is expensive to continuously print and mail documentation, and everyone is trying to save money. Also, people tend to have a bad habit of moving and not informing agencies of when they have done so, which means that these mailed documents get returned and the money was wasted in the first place. Alright, so that is it for the news update. And as I said before, you've got the links to these articles in the show notes if you would like to take a closer look at them. If you have any questions regarding this episode or any of the others that I have done, then you can contact me at dj@rcretirement.com. Please take a look at my website at rcretirement.com, particularly the fees for service page. You can see the individual services that I can offer for you. And if you join my Patreon campaign and support me at $25 per month or more, then you get a 20% discount off of those services. And if you just want to support me in my efforts, then of course I invite you to do so. Also on Patreon, you can do so at any amount you choose per month, not per episode, per month. And you will have my greatest appreciation for doing so. As always, I thank you for being part of this audience, for spending your time with me, and of course, thank you for your service. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.